The Indian government has banned dozens of Chinese-owned apps over apparent security concerns. Now, the list includes the messaging service WeChat and the wildly popular video platform TikTok. Relations between China and India really degraded since a border clash 2 weeks ago left 20 Indian soldiers dead. Well, our business editor, Stephen Carroll, joins me now here on set with more on this. Stephen, just tell us, first of all, what exactly India's decided here.
So they've made a list of 59 apps that are to be banned. That means that they will order Google and Apple to remove those apps from their store. It doesn't appear those companies have gotten the order to do so yet anyway. New Delhi's saying that this is over cybersecurity concerns. They say that they believe that activity on these apps is prejudicial to India's sovereignty, defence and public order. The Ministry for Information Technology is saying that they had complaints over risks of data being transferred out of India via these apps, and that's what prompted them to act. But of course, it is also a response to the events that we saw on the border between India and China along the Himalayas, where those clashes left those 20 Indian soldiers dead. Now, the banned apps on the list include the browser, UC browser from Alibaba, WeChat, the messaging service, and also TikTok, which is getting a lot of the focus because it's so wildly popular, particularly with under 25s. India is one of the biggest markets for TikTok. Last month, they had more than 20 million downloads of the app. That was the most popular country in the world for downloads in total. The industry experts, Sensor Tower, say that more than 600 million downloads of the app have happened in its history. So it's hugely popular. If you're not familiar with it, it's short videos, lots of lip syncs and choreographed dance routines. It's owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance. They employ 2,000 people in India. They have plans to invest $1 billion in the Indian market as well. But this is clearly an attempt to try and stymie their growth if people can't download the app.
That's India. I mean, it's not actually the only country, though, is it, that's worried about this, particularly about TikTok?
That's right. Now, the US lawmakers have raised national security concerns about TikTok before because of its Chinese owners. Authorities in the UK and in the Netherlands are investigating how users' data is being handled on the app as well. Now, in response to the latest news from India, its head of business there said that the company continues to comply with all data privacy and security requirements under Indian law and have not shared any information of their users with any foreign government, including the Chinese government. But the company's been tied up in the wider geopolitics of this as well. We've seen governments in many parts of the world try to use Chinese companies as a proxy for the government in Beijing. Other events that we've seen happen in India, there's been calls for boycotts of Chinese goods. There are reports that Indian officials are telling state-owned telecoms companies in India not to buy telecoms equipment from Chinese companies. There are reports even that customs officers are holding back containers coming from China, which contain goods from the likes of Dell and Apple. So there's a kind of a wider context to this as well. We know it's not just India as well. The United States banning Huawei, the Chinese technology giant, on national security grounds for access to its 5G networks as well. This is part of a bigger play that's happening in the world where Chinese companies are being used as a proxy for other tensions that are happening with China as well.